Welcome back, everyone, to Mega Man X7. Today, we'll be visiting the Don Alus Mandriller Memorial Tower, because there's somebody on top of it, and we need them to not be there anymore. Let's get their ass. Who is it? Why, it's Tornado Tonion, the Reploid that's based off an onion. Not an animal, just a vegetable. I mean, you can't say it's not a unique idea for a Reploid. There aren't a lot of non-animal Reploids in this series. So, first things first, Tornado Tonion is voiced by Jack Merluzzi, which, we haven't heard him speak yet, but I will just say ahead of time, very different voice, so I guess he's got some range, because Zero's very monotone in the way he speaks, and Tonion is not. So anyway, we've got one of those stages where, like, the mini-boss appears and attacks you before you can actually fight him properly, and I'm rather fond of this one. This is a fun level. The boss isn't as intrusive as some other iterations of this gimmick, like, say, the one in Mega Man X6, where it was just constantly being very annoying. There were a lot of obstacles that were not particularly fun to deal with. But yeah, this mechanoid here, not so bad. Really, my biggest problem is still just my bad controller. If it weren't for that, this stage would go by so much easier. As it stands, I still had a pretty easy time with it, though. That being said, we've got the mini-boss proper now. He's not going to be joining us for the whole stage, unfortunately. So, okay. I feel like he's programmed to do a certain attack that wastes more time if you try to hit him with charge shots, which I think he will do it once here. Yeah, this one right here. Gonna turn to Axel so I can avoid this, but yeah, he'll basically, move into a shell, release some blades from the side, and then appear, for me, oftentimes on the opposite side of the arena. Yeah, so when I tried charging, he did that like every other second. Like, it was basically just every attack he was doing that. So I had a lot of takes where it just took forever to kill this guy, until I realized, oh, it seems like he's reacting. He's got a counter to charging, and his counter is to be more obnoxious.
Can you hear me, F?
So, now that we're done with that half of the stage, this one's a little more straightforward. It's got its own obstacles without a guy in the background, of course, but, alright, now we have this guy. You'll need to use Bounding. What a pain. I guess that man is named Bounding. Well, I have Axel, but I don't particularly care about absorbing this guy, we don't need him. So yeah, he's basically just here to be annoying. Personally, if you have the opportunity, I'd just go under him. I feel like that's easier, but It doesn't take that long to actually kill him by shooting him. You just have to wait a sec. So yeah, the nice thing about this right here is that it's not a one-hit kill, it just wastes your time if you fall, because this is all just one big tower, and it's not one of those stages where, by going higher, you've made the— oh, that's just 3 people to rescue in a row. We're very creative with the positioning in this stage, but then again, it's a very straightforward tower, so not really a lot you could do. But yeah, it's not like a game where the previous floor becomes a bottomless pit once you've moved up, no. It doesn't have a Castlevania trick for you. It's just, if you fall, you waste your time. Which, in fairness, is basically a one-hit kill for me. I wasn't keeping any of that in. We also have disappearing, reappearing blocks, which are weirdly enough not actually called Yoku blocks. That is apparently just a fan thing. Alright, so yeah, they're actually really easy to deal with in this game. This stage has them as very simple obstacles. There's no real difficult pattern to learn with those, you just go past them. You wait for them, you jump, you leave. That's just about it. this might be the easiest instance of those in the entire Mega Man series. Oh no.
I ask you a favor, yes? Stop us! Stop Red, please! Yeah?
Okay, so the fun thing about this cutscene is Zero and Axel, he acts all goofy. He's like, oh, hey, you wanna see me dance? And you're like, no. He's like, ah, darn. But if you unlock X before you fight Tornado Tonion, you get this cutscene instead where he's just like, we're being made to do things we don't want to do! Please kill me!
We becoming something else!
Alright, well, I'm not unpacking your voice. Just gonna side-eye voice direction and call it a day. It's Tornado Tonion. He's weirdly easy. He does have a protective layer, but in order to do a lot of his moves, he has to lower his guard, so either you shoot him a bunch until his peel temporarily leaves, or you just wait for him to make himself vulnerable. Honestly, it's easy enough to just do this. If you have to shoot through him, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's not gonna waste that much time. And yeah, he's just weirdly simple. He's constantly on you. Like, I always get nervous about his tornado attack, but like, I don't think I ever got hit by it. This boss took 2 attempts. And if I remember correctly, I actually managed to do this no-hit. I'm not trying to do those anymore. I just did. Like, I'd imagine this boss is hell for Zero. Like, being close range for any of these attacks is kind of a no-go. So, I guess, in terms of characters, Zero's the challenge run version, but, if your character has a gun, which this game is built so 2/3 of the time, you will have a character with a gun. First half of the game, there's half a chance you will have a gun. Well, no, 100% chance, really. You can't not take 2 characters. And then, of course, once you unlock X, you will still always have a gun no matter what, because 2/3 of the characters have a gun. But, yeah, like, I feel like I got clipped by one of these attacks in my first run. I was like, I can do a little better than that, I think. And then I did. I actually just did this no-hit. Axel's coming in with damage from earlier. I really didn't Tornado Tonion. Again, not touching that one. I'm killing you as you requested. I have stopped you as you wanted to be stopped, and now I'm leaving. So yeah, Wild Boss, the 2/3 of the time it's just played for laughs, just, oh, look at this goofy guy with this accent. He's talking about dancing and everybody thinks he's dumb as hell. And then you get X and it's like, oh no, he's having a moment of lucidity where he can tell you that life is hell, and because of this professor, he can no longer know peace. Alright, so we rescued everybody because honestly, straightforward stage, it's easy to do that. That works. Alright, so let's save the old game. Easy stage. And what will we have to see today? So just as the previous few cutscenes have been, this one's gonna be another Professor and Red cutscene. Again, I kinda prefer the Zero Axel cutscenes. I like seeing them be able to bond. It's kind of necessary for Axel's first game. Though that being said, I still vastly prefer the Professor and Red to anything that Gate did. Like, goddamn.
Amazing. I had no idea that
Like, I feel most Mega Man X6 videos ran longer because of the cutscenes. When there were cutscenes, they were pretty long. Every video in this series has cutscenes, but they're still shorter than X6.
Give me the chance. I can make you.
The pacing for these is so much better. And I forget if I mentioned this, but like, a necessary thing in like visual novels and games that use more visual novel style cutscenes, is that the sprites or whatever have you are a bit more dynamic, which they aren't in this cutscene.
We've set him free.
But at the very least, what's going on is interesting enough to keep me interested in it, unlike anything Gate did. That's a major problem with X6. Gate sucked as a villain, and the cutscene direction was terrible. It was just a still, and then eventually they'd cut in some character faces, and then those would remain just completely static for the rest of the cutscene, and it was so bad. But see, we've got a different red sprite now. It's not as frequent as it should be, really. I think the addition of blinking animations also helps. But yeah, this is... Even if I prefer the other cutscenes, these are still better than Gate. Plus, this is sort of the thing that happens before the game starts. This is the moment of betrayal.
I thought you'd be a bit more.
We saw that, Red was ultimately going to reject the professor, He liked those power-ups, but Axel left. That's none of his business. It's fine if he's free, but whoops! It turns out those power-ups mean that all of Red's friends are now the professor's friends.
What have you done to my pals?
My pals, no!
Consider it payment for the power-ups I gave you.
I don't know why. Power-ups is just such a video gamey term that it's so funny to hear them in this context.
Never return to normal.
Like they're just an actual reward given to people. Just a special treat you get for your job well done. Alright, so now we understand a little better that Red got swindled. But there's still one more of his mercenary pals to take care of, so we'll do that next time on Mega Man X7.